Hello. So that was a really creepy hello. All right. Um, so I realized that I have been, you know, not keeping very updated, and not posting videos as much as I should. I'm trying to get better at that, I promise. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what led me into my agoraphobia and my severe anxiety disorder, and then what led me out of that into recovery. Because I realized that I kind of just jumped in it. I didn't really explain it a whole lot. Um, but when I was 15, I had my very first panic attack. And personally, for me, my panic attack was my arms and legs going numb. My heartbeat was racing really fast. I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating, and hyperventilating is when you breathe in and out and you can't catch your breath, and it makes you lightheaded and you feel completely out of control of your body. Since I had never experienced that before, that frightened me on a completely different level. Um, I I I just didn't want to leave my house anymore because that was my comfort zone, and I didn't want to experience that fear again. For about 6 months after my first panic attack, I tried to leave the house with friends. I would go to my friend's house that was down the street, or to the grocery store, which was across the street. It was never a long, ways away from my house. That way I could always get back to my comfort zone as soon as possible. And I was doing it to make my family and friends happy. I wasn't leaving because I wanted to. And every time I went out, I would experience such a large amount of anxiety and fear that I just stopped leaving my house one day. I was like, I don't want to experience that fear. This is where I feel safe. This is where I'm comfortable. And I know that if I have an anxiety attack, I will be okay here. And it got to the point where I didn't leave my house for a year. And then in the span of 2 years, I left my house a total of 5 times, 3 of which were holidays, one of which was a family event, and one was to move. None of which were my choice. I never wanted to leave. And when I moved, my agoraphobia and my anxiety just got worse. Because of my anxiety, I developed obsessive compulsive disorder, and my OCD got so bad that I had to check myself into a treatment center, because not only was I contemplating and planning suicide, but I was physically hurting myself so much that it just wasn't. I needed help. I needed to go into a treatment center. Not to mention the mental, you know, just the strain that it puts on you. Now, after not leaving my house for over 2 years, except for, for certain events that, again, were not my choice, going and checking into a treatment center was frightening. I was so scared to do it. I could not fathom that I was I could not fathom that my life had gotten to the point where I had to go check myself into a treatment center. Like, it turned into a how did you let your life get this out of control? Like, how? And I beat myself the entire way I beat myself up the entire way to the treatment center, and I was like, I need to do this, but it's just so shitty that I have to do it. It's so, the fact that I let my life get to this point. When I checked myself into a treatment center, I was 18 years old. And an 18-year-old who hadn't left her house in 2 years, who completely missed what's supposed to be the highlight of your life, your teenage years. And I'm checking myself into a treatment center. And it was ridiculous. And when I got to the treatment center, I wanted to be there because I wanted to get help. I wanted to be better. Obviously, I had the fear of, well, what if I can't get better? But there was also, again, the point of, how did I let my life get like this? When I was in the treatment center, I realized that things happen, and it's not because, the world hates you or anything like that. It's because you're dealt with everything, and what you're dealt with, you're supposed to be dealt with. Everything happens for a reason. And I know people hate that saying, but if I think about it now, nothing that I have gone through would I ever change, ever. Because it's made me the strong person that I am today. And I would never change that, because I am now 20 years old. I am living on my own. I have a job, and I am trying my very hardest to completely overcome agoraphobia. I still have my comfort zones. I still get anxious when I'm, pushing my comfort zone. That's gonna happen. But the best thing to do when you have agoraphobia is to just go. To just go where you're not comfortable. Because even if you're just trying, even if you get there and you're like, okay, I'm really anxious right now and I would just like to go home, you still tried. You still did it. Instead of sitting at your house saying, no, I'm not going to do it because I know I'm going to have an anxiety attack. Go and do it. Because even if you have an anxiety attack, it's going to be okay. And when you go there, and even if you have an anxiety attack, okay, you calm yourself down, you breathe through it, you're there. You're there. You're not having an anxiety attack, you're okay, and you just made a huge leap. And I never thought I would be able to do that, ever. I got anxious going to my mailbox. I would have a panic attack going to the end of my street. I was 3 houses before the end of the street. And I never in a million years thought that I could get in a car again, let alone drive wherever I wanted to with my boyfriend or his friends or whatever. I've been on a freeway. I hadn't been on a freeway in like 3 to 4 years. That's a lot of years to not be on a freeway, and I did it. And it feels so awesome to say that. And any person who is thinking that I can't recover from this, you can. You can. I promise you. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be scary. You're going to be crying sometimes, like, I don't understand why I have to go through this. But you know what? You're going to be stronger from it. It's going to be okay. I promise you that. And one thing that I do want to talk about, I have trichotillomania. And that is when you pull your hair out, and doesn't matter where it's at on your head, your eyelashes, your arms, anywhere. Through all of my recovery, I am still struggling very hard with my trich, because I've been doing it since the 4th grade, so it's a little hard to stop when you've been doing it for that long. But I do have eyelashes, which is a big step, because I hadn't had eyelashes since the 4th grade as well. But I've had them for almost a year now, which is ridiculous to think about. But when you are recovering, you kind of feel bad if you're not fully recovering with everything. And it gets really stressful because you feel like you're failing at some things. Now, I have quite a large bald spot, and I just want to make it known that even though I have not stopped pulling, I'm trying very hard. Anyone who has Trek knows how hard it is to stop. But I'm trying. But even though I haven't, doesn't mean that I'm failing in my recovery or that I am not doing well. And I want you to know that if you have Trek, or you have agoraphobia, or you have anxiety, or OCD, or anything like that, that as long as you're trying, that's all that matters. That's the only thing that matters. And any support that you need, not only try, you have a support system, you have your friends and your family, but also be your own support system, because that's very, very important. You need to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one can believe in you. Well, people can believe in you, but you need to believe in yourself to be able to get the help, to not only help yourself, but let others help you. Because if someone's trying to help you, you need to be able to help yourself. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. You can ask in the comments, or you can ask on my Ask FM, which is anonymous, so I will put that in the description. I'm sorry this is such a long video, but always choose recovery. You can get through anything that life throws at you, and please just recover, okay? Everything works out, everything's okay, everything happens for a reason, and recovery is the best decision that you can ever make. Like I said, any questions that you have, feel free to ask me, and if you have any recommendations for a video, please let me know as well.